look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies.
She was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough, because she just started all the girls.
It's like 50 Cent just lit a fire he can't put out. The rap mogul isn't keeping quiet after 50 dropped some serious bombshells about his marriage to Beyonce. And this ain't your average celebrity beef. We're talking wild claims, shady backdoor deals, and footage so weird fans are still rewatching it like, what did I just see? Is Beyonce really under Jay's control? Like a puppet with no strings of her own? And what if 50's not just trolling? What if he's actually exposing something real? Things are getting messy, fast. Jay's clapping back hard, but let's be honest, 50 been poking at him for years. This time, though, he might have taken it too far. He straight up said Jay-Z owes everything to Beyonce. On the Flag Grant podcast with comedian Andrew Schultz, 50 held nothing back. The guy basically laughed while claiming that without marrying Bey, Jay wouldn't be half the legend he is today. And 50 didn't stop at jokes either. He went full savage, saying Jay only became family man Jay because Bey cleaned up his image, turning him from a street rapper to a global icon.
All right, I sent the assistant to go run and grab 3 5-hour energies. I think I had one, B had one, and I think her assistant her cousin Angie had one. So we all have a 5-hour energy. It gives us a little bit of a boost. We feel a little bit better about ourselves. You know, if any of you have had one of those energy shots, it really does give you a nice jolt of energy. And so at some point, maybe half an hour later, we start recording a 4th song. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we're really going to keep going here. We get a 4th song done.
That kind of rebrand, gold for his career. But that wasn't even the biggest bomb. The real shock, a clip of Bey at a game, looking totally spaced out. She can barely focus, like she's in a whole other world. Sure, she could just be tired. But 50 says nope, he claims someone gave her something before the event. And then there's that Grammy footage. Jay is insisting she take a drink, and when she refuses, boom, he gives her a cold, angry stare. Like, why was he so pressed about that drink? That's not love, that's control. Fans are saying the couple gives off master and puppet energy instead of ride or die vibes. But here's where it gets even darker. Word is, before she blew up, Beyonce was already being offered around the music scene. Yeah, it's disturbing. Bun B, one half of UGK, spilled some tea in an old interview. He said back in the day, Destiny's Child and UGK were in the same building.
And Jay-Z were at the Nets game, and y'all tell me what you think.
The same determination that is used to make Brooklyn a better place.
Y'all didn't hear the beat?
I heard the beat, but then the beat went away, and she continued to rock and sway.
Sometimes when you're a musician, if she been in the studio or whatever, the beat is still in her head, and you know, she can hear the song, you know, and
it's something so intriguing about that couple, like, even though, you know, like, it makes it more interesting because you don't know what they were talking about. Like, are they having an argument?
Can we reenact it? And let's see what they were talking about.
Now, I told you I wasn't about to get any popcorn now. I'm just tired, I'm flawless, and I'm tired, Jay-Z.
But what about some juju beads? I like juju beads, they're tasty.
I mean, yeah, I know, but it ain't about that right now.
Whoppers. Well, if you don't do it, I'm gonna put you where Solange is at. You can't even see her.
Oh, really? It's like that now? Okay, so let me call her.
Don't do that.
And Pimp C thought about saying hi to the girls. Bey was just a fan, all smiles. But her dad, Matthew Knowles, had another agenda. He actually wanted Pimp C to get with Bey. Why? Because it would help both their careers. That right there sounds like someone was pushing Bey behind the scenes. Pimp C said no, but you know who didn't? Jay-Z. And if you believe Jaguar, Bey was trained for this role long before we ever saw her on stage. You might want to call Jaguar crazy, but take a second and really think. Beyoncé had it all. So why would a superstar like her end up with a man fresh off a violent charge? Yep, you heard that right. A lot of folks don't know this, but back in the early 2000s, Jay-Z was on probation. The reason? He stabbed a dude named Lance Rivera in a club. Straight up knife fight. It was big news at the time. He pled not guilty, but still ended up with 3 years of probation starting in 2000. Now here's where things get real sketchy. Beyoncé herself has said she started dating Jay when she was around 20, which would have been 2001 or 2002, meaning she started seeing him while he was still on probation for stabbing someone. Ask yourself, would you get into a serious relationship with a man who had a violent criminal case hanging over him? Most people wouldn't touch that, and Bey's no fool, so why did she do it? The only thing that adds up is this. Jay and Matthew Knowles, her dad, made a deal. Business over love. But here's the thing. Women stuck in setups like that, they break eventually. And if Jay wanted to keep that business deal locked down, a contract wasn't enough. He needed control. So what did he allegedly do? According to some sources, he got her hooked, gave her substances to keep her in check. Sounds wild, right? But think again. Wasn't Diddy accused of doing the same thing to Cassie? So maybe it's not that far off. Plus, there have been plenty of blind items over the years hinting that something isn't right. One of them described an award-winning superstar with fame, money, kids, and the perfect marriage, but also a secret habit, a serious one. The blind item claimed she relied on a certain Class A drug to keep going. What started as once in a while turned into a daily routine. Fans were shocked. Sure, people knew she smoked a little, but hard drugs? No one saw that coming. Still, considering the history of drug use around her, especially in Jay's circle, some say it was just a matter of time. And here's the kicker. If the rumors are true, she's got one person to blame.
Now I'm guessing it's about noon, maybe 1 o'clock. So we've been at the studio for close to 24 hours now. And I thought, okay, now for sure she's going to go home. She doesn't go home. So we start recording a 5th song. Now at this point, I'm like, oh, we're in this for the long haul. We're probably not going to go home at 4 p.m. Like she's probably going to stay. You know, when you book a studio, you book like in blocks, right? And she might book 24-hour blocks. So once you pass that 24 hours, like you might as well stay. You're into the next day already, right? And so now I realize, all right, we're going to be here all night. We're going to be here for probably close to 40 hours.
Jay, which isn't too far-fetched either. Comedian Faizon Love once put Jay on blast for being deeper in the drug game than people thought. Even Jay-Z himself has talked about the dark path he came from. In a sit-down with Oprah, he walked through the Marcy projects and dropped a chilling truth. Growing up there was life or death, no in-between. And he wasn't playing around. Back in the 80s, when the crack epidemic was wrecking lives, a young 13-year-old Jay was already out there, pushing substances. His dad dipped out when he was just 11, and like a lot of kids in the neighborhood, Jay looked up to the dealers on the block. That's who shaped him. He said it straight. Out there, you had to keep your word. If you didn't, no court, no second chances. You were handled right then and there. That world taught him loyalty, but it also taught him control. And when it comes to Beyoncé, if he did want to keep her in check, he would already know exactly how to do it. Now here's where things get more unsettling. Is there proof? Maybe not solid receipts, but there are signs. Experts who've studied Jay and Bey's body language say something's off, like way off. Take one photo of them walking together. At first glance, cute, but Blanca Cobb, a body language pro from North Carolina, saw a different story. She pointed out that yeah, their legs are in sync, and Bey's smiling. Even her toes look relaxed. But Jay's hand, it's not just holding hers. It's gripping her like he's saying, I got you. Don't move. That's not your average couple stroll. That's control with a smile on it.
About 5 days later, I get a call from Beyoncé's assistant saying, hey, are you available? Are you ready to get back in the studio tomorrow? And I said, what do you mean? Bee's in Italy, isn't she? You know, she's not due to be back for another 10 days or so. And she's like, yeah, no, she's coming back early. She's ready to get back in the studio. And I thought, wow, we've been working so hard. You've only been gone for 5 days and you're ready to get back. That is insane to me. That's dedication.
Now check out another moment that really raised eyebrows. Jay holding Bey, not by the waist, not the back, but by the neck. Fans caught it and said, what is this? And Blanca broke it down. It's awkward, it's not affectionate, and it screams possessive. Like, why grab your wife by the neck when you could have just touched her shoulder? It ain't just weird, it's a power move. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, no one's saying Jay-Z is flat out doing something wrong here, but the vibe, it's definitely possessive. Body language expert Blanca Cobb made it clear Jay uses touch not just to show affection, but to mark territory. And what's wild is, Beyoncé doesn't always match that energy. She often looks like she's just standing there, keeping her distance, not really returning his touch. You can't see her full expression without her face, sure, but the body language speaks volumes. To some, it might seem sweet, but others see something deeper, like he's not just showing love, he's claiming ownership, like she's an object, not a partner. Even Cobb said it. Jay is way more hands-on than Bey in public. That's his way of showing love. But her reactions? Barely there. She's not pulling away, but she's not reaching out either. And let's be real, if she's truly in love with him, why wouldn't she lean into those moments more? Why does she seem so distant when he's all over her? That question has a chilling answer. Maybe because love never had much to do with it. Word on the street is, this was never about romance. This was business. Straight up transaction. And it's not just a wild rumor. Beyoncé's former bodyguard backed it up. This man, Ron, wasn't some random blogger. He was on the inside, saw it all go down firsthand. And according to him, that marriage was more deal than desire. A contract, not a love story. He didn't stop there either. Ron claimed Beyoncé had been using substances too, and said it wasn't just her choice. It was part of the setup. But here's the creepiest part. Ron's gone. Vanished. Just like that. A few months back, he was posting online, stirring up the internet with wild claims. And now, radio silence. Nothing. Fans are seriously freaked out. Some think he passed away under shady circumstances. Others believe he's gone into hiding, like he knew too much and had to disappear. Either way, people are asking what really happened to Ron after he started spilling secrets. If Ron really did vanish, there's only one reason that would make sense. He was telling the truth, especially about Beyoncé being on substances. And look, if Jay-Z was really dosing Bey, it wouldn't even be that far-fetched. People close to her have been whispering for years that she's struggled behind the scenes. One music producer even spilled that Beyoncé once gave herself 5-hour energy poisoning. Yeah, for real. Because she chugged so many to stay awake during a marathon studio session. He said she stayed up over 40 hours trying to knock out 6 songs. Most people would have passed out or gone home halfway through. But not Bey. She kept grinding, even when her body was clearly done. By the time she hit the 3rd track, the producer was drained and reaching for a boost. But Bey? She showed him what kind of machine she really is. And then, boom, she crashed. Hard. That post-studio vacation she had planned, canceled. She got sick from pushing herself way past the edge. Fans praised her hustle when the story got out. They were like, that's dedication. But let's be honest, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. That's not just hard work, that's desperation. And it proves one thing, Beyoncé's willing to use whatever it takes to keep going. Some fans say she's just wired that way, used to this grind. But others think years of being dosed may have seriously damaged her nervous system. At this point, they claim she might not even know how to function without help. It's sad, but what's even more alarming is how deep this all runs. There are so many red flags wrapped up in Bey and Jay's marriage. And 50 Cent, he's out here pulling back the curtain, asking the real questions. So what's the deal? Is Beyoncé really being controlled like a puppet? And is Jay-Z coming for 50 next for spilling too much? And if you think Jay wouldn't go that far, maybe take a look at who else has mysteriously gone silent after exposing him. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV because trust, this tea's only getting hotter.